Good evening and welcome everybody to this quick webinar on financial modeling using AI. Financial modeling is not only important for any FP&A role, the way we do financial modeling is changing, right? It used to take us a lot of time to build a solid financial model, but AI is changing all of that, and it is making it easier to build and manage financial models like never before, right? So the ease of operating a financial model is like never before. And we'll cover some of the examples today in the session, and we'll cover some use cases as well to show you how financial modeling will change with AI coming in.
All right. So in terms of the today's roadmap, what are we going to cover? We are going to understand, first of all, what is financial modeling for FP&A? What are those FP&A relevant use cases that we will be covering in our webinar? And then we will move on to understanding some of the use cases using AI tools like Manus, which is an agentic AI tool, Claude, which is a large language model, and also ChatGPT, which is one of the most commonly used AI tool these days. So we'll be sharing some use cases which we have been seeing that finance professionals are using in their lives, and it'll be a very interesting session. Okay, and then finally we'll have the last 10 minutes for Q&A, and then we will wrap up. So that's the roadmap for today's session.
A little bit about us before we begin. My name is Dhawal Parvatikar. I'm a qualified chartered accountant with over close to 2 decades of experience. Worked with various Indian and multinational companies across India and the Middle East as a CFO and a finance leader. Been a passionate trainer over the last 6 years. Trained more than 5,000 professionals on various topics like FP&A, business partnering, one-on-one CFO career coaching, and much more. Happy to partner with Asif here today. You will frequently see me in a lot of events across the Middle East as a speaker, as a panelist, as a host. I've built a vibrant community of more than 200 CFOs across the Middle East. We meet every quarter, exchange ideas, and that's how we are able to also understand and keep our content relevant as to what do CFOs look for today in the finance professionals that they want to hire.
Wonderful. Happy to join you in this webinar as well, Dhawal. Quickly about me. So I have been working in finance and FP&A for more than 15 years now. Started as an auditor back in 2010, and then moved into FP&A in 2013. Restarted as an FP&A analyst in 2013. And my most recent role was of FP&A lead for one of the regions, which is the APAC region for one of the largest edtech companies. And then 2023, me and Dhawal came together and co-founded the FP&A Professionals Institute. And what we have been doing over the last 3 years is we try to bring in not just my and Dhawal's experience and expertise, but we try to bring in experience and expertise of top FP&A professionals across the globe, right from North America to Middle East to APAC and Europe. So we collaborate with top FP&A professionals, and we try to bring all those experience and expertise to you through our certifications and courses. So over the last 3.5 years, we have trained more than 6,000 students across all of these courses and certifications that you see on the screen. So that's a little bit about us. With that, what we'll do is we'll quickly jump into today's webinar topic, which is financial modeling for FP&A. So first of all, let us understand what does a financial model mean. So can somebody tell or can somebody type in the chat box, what do you mean by a financial model? So when somebody tells you what somebody is telling you that I am building a financial model or I am looking at a financial model, what are the few things that come to your mind? You can type that in the chat box. Let us see what are your thoughts on what a financial model is. Okay, I'll repeat the question. So you need to type one or two words in the chat box that you think is a financial model. Okay, you can type whatever comes to your mind. You don't have to be accurate. So I just want to understand if you all have a basic understanding of what the financial model is. Okay, I see Lakshya saying building estimations. What else? Using drivers to forecast future performance of a company. Okay, all right. So I think those are good answers. What is a financial model? In very simple words, it is your Excel file basically if it has these three components. Okay, so if your file has these three components, then you can call it a financial model. Okay, so I see more answers. Models built for three statements, financial performance using numbers built in Excel. Okay, so exactly. So your Excel file that you use uh, on a regular basis, you can call that a financial model if it has three components. Okay, first component is the input section. It could be the assumptions section or the scenario section. So if you have the assumption and the scenario section where you are inputting different assumptions, different drivers, okay, that is the first and the most important requirement of a financial model. The second requirement is that there should be some calculation happening inside the file using those assumptions and using those inputs. Okay, so that is the second requirement. And the final requirement is that there should be some output that you want to present. So if you have the inputs, if you have the calculation section, and if you have the output, these are the three sections. If you have these, you can call any regular report or a file, Excel file, a financial model. If any one of these components are missing, then it is hard to call that a financial model. It's more of an Excel file or a report and not a financial model. Okay, so now that we understand what the financial model is, let us understand what is financial modeling for FP&A. So financial modeling is a very vast topic. Okay, so it covers a wide domain of finance functions, including FP&A, including investment banking, equity research, valuations. Okay, so all of these finance functions have or need to use financial modeling skills in the work that they do. However, what we will be focusing today is only the use cases which are relevant to FP&A. So you can see the two circles on the screen. So, okay, on the left hand side, what you see is some of the basic, or I would say the bare minimum that you need to know as a beginner financial modeler. Okay, so you need to understand the best practices and basics of financial modeling, and also you should be able to do a three statement financial model. So if you are able to do those two, if you know do those two elements, you can call yourself as a beginner. Also, on the FP&A role, you need to be able to use financial modeling best practices to do all of those things that you see on the center of those two circles. Okay, so you should be able to build a budget or a forecast using financial modeling practices. You should be able to do revenue models, business models. You should be able to create a scenario plan. You should be able to do sensitivity analysis. You should be able to create a long range projections. It could be a 3 year or a 5 year projection using financial modeling tools and techniques. Okay, so these are some of the use cases or day-to-day functions that you need to be able to perform. And what we will be focusing on is using financial modeling basics and best practices to be able to do all of these functions which are used in FP&A. So that is what the financial modeling for FP&A is. So what we will do now is we will be covering some of the use cases that we have planned for using different AI tools. So we'll be showing you three different AI tools in the next 30 minutes. And we'll start with one of the most popular tools these days, which is Claude using Excel. So let me first get you the Excel file. Let me open that up. So let me open up a new Excel file. Okay. So what I have here is a fresh, brand new Excel file. It is blank. Okay. So what you need to have to be able to perform this is two things. The first is a paid Claude license, which is usually $19-20 per month. So you need a paid Pro Claude license. And once you have a Pro license, then you need to install something called as the Claude ribbon inside Excel. Okay. So how do you install it? There's an add-in option inside the home menu. And once you go there and you just type Claude, you will be able to see it. When you click on it, you should be able to see something like this interface on the inside your Excel file, which is your Claude ribbon inside Excel. Again, I'll repeat, you need your Claude Pro subscription. Then you need to add this Excel ribbon or Excel add-in inside your home menu. Okay. And when you start, it will typically ask you for your Claude key, which you can easily get from your the license that you have the Pro license that you have. Okay, once you have the basic setup, you should be able to see the screen, which I am looking at right now. So as a first exercise, what we will be doing is we'll try to create a three statement financial model. Okay, for a specific industry. Okay, let us assume that we are working in the education industry. Okay, and Dhawal and I had a thought that we will open up a college at some point of time, which we could not. Okay, so let me just use that as a prompt and let's see if if we have the Claude, which can help us model that or bring that to life. Okay, so here is my prompt that I am giving in this Excel add-in. Okay, it says build a three-statement financial model for a new college, assuming there are 50 students in a year, and I am giving more detailed assumptions. So 100 students in year one, and then year two you have 200, and so on. Also, I'm giving what is the pricing or the tuition fee for per year per student. Also, I'm giving it a retention rate. Okay, I'm assuming that not every student will complete the 3-year degree. I'm assuming that 15% of the students will drop out. So I'm giving the basic assumptions that I have in my mind, and I'm also asking it to assume the expenses of a normal college in the UAE. Okay. And currency, let me specify, is dirhams. Okay. Now with this, what I'll do is I'll give it enter and let's see what it does. Okay. So when you give the prompt in Claude, it will give you the steps that it is going to follow. So as you can see on the screen, you see that it has given you the 7 different steps that it will be following one by one, step by step. Okay. So it says that it will start by creating the assumption sheet, then it will build the income statement, then it will build the balance sheet, then followed by the cash flow statement. Okay. And then it will link the statements and verify everything. And then finally, it will spend time on formatting and finalizing. Okay. And then it'll add everything to the Claude log. These are the 7 steps it will follow. And right now it is on step number 1. So this entire model, it usually takes about 3 minutes to build. So let's see what it is doing step by step. So let me just show you the Claude log here. Okay, so it gave me those 7 steps. Okay, and it is reiterating the assumptions that I gave it to the ribbon. It says tuition $15,000 a year. Okay, expenses all at market rates. Okay, after reading all the assumptions, it says that, let me just see what this is. So now let me build the assumptions section. So if you see on the left hand side, it is populating the assumptions section uh, as I speak here. Okay, so if you can notice, you have the assumptions section with all the assumptions that are required for the model, including the number of new students every year, retention rate that I had mentioned. Returning students would be 85% of the new students, and the remaining would be dropouts. Students tuition per year. Okay, it is first taking the USD number, which is $15,000, and then converting that into AED. So I had given the tuition number in US dollars and then asked for the AED currency as well. So it's converting that. And it is built similarly all the other expense assumptions as well, including your normal P&L expenses that you see in UAE, which includes your in a normal education setup, including your faculty and academic staff salaries, uh, rent and maintenance, utilities, etc. Okay. So it has populated the assumption sheet, and then let's see what it does next. Okay, so next it is saying that I am building the income statement. Okay, so let us move to the income statement, and you can see that the income statement is now populating in front of you live. So it has put together the income statement, the revenues and expenses for the 3 years. Okay, so you can see the revenue in row number 8, and then now it is working on the expenses. Okay, so it has now populated the entire income statement, and it's doing now some referencing work. I think we have already spent about a couple of minutes. It will take 2 more minutes and it will build the balance sheet, cash flow statement, and build the entire financial model. Okay, so it is still at step number 3 out of 7. Okay, in the interest of time, what I will do is I will show you the final model. I have another copy with me. So let me just open that and show it to you. While Claude is working, let me show you the final output of that prompt, which it will get to in maybe another 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so it builds the complete income statement, it builds the balance sheet, it builds the cash flow statement, and finally it registers everything in the inside the Claude log. So let me show you all the steps here quickly. So it built the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow, and it also gave me some flags that I need to review, which were very interesting. Okay, so it says cash goes negative by year 2, so you would need some funding, which is not enough. So that is where what we need to plan. That's how you see in a matter of less than 3 to 5 minutes, you can build an entire three statement financial model, which typically used to take about 3 to 4 hours for you to do it manually. And all these are uh, I would say dynamic. So if you change the numbers here, so if you make this 150 to 100, all the linked files or all the income statement balance sheet will change accordingly. Okay, so let me go back to the model which is right now populating. So right now that model which was in progress is now building the cash flow statement. It completed the balance sheet. Now it is building the cash flow statement. So typically this entire process usually takes about 5 to 7 minutes, which earlier used to take hours, maybe 3 to 4 hours. And even after that, you could have made mistakes. Not saying that Claude doesn't make mistakes, it may make mistakes, but now your job becomes a lot easier because the model is already built, and now you can focus on reviewing it and refining it instead of building it from scratch. So that was the first use case, which was on the building a end-to-end three-statement financial model. I'll take a pause here. If you can notice in the live model, it has now completed all the 7 steps, and now it is logging the Claude log. So let me go back to the chat box and see if there are any questions that I can take. Okay, so there's a question. Does it have to be Opus 4.6 or you can use 4.7? So if you can notice here, there's a drop down box. It doesn't have to be 4.6. You can use 4.7 as well. I believe 4.7 is slightly better in terms of speed. Okay, so if you want to try 4.7, you could do that as well. But what I noticed is when I use 4.7, it exhausts my credits a little faster. So that's why I have used 4.6. But yes, you can use 4.7. It might be slightly better than what the current version is. Yeah. So in terms of the Sonnet, it might be able to perform, but what I've seen is Opus is much better at doing Excel related tasks. This could have been done by the 4.6 Sonnet as well. But what I've observed is the Excel financial modeling task, usually the Opus 4.6 is the most optimum. 4.7 will do it even faster, but it might exhaust your credits a little faster as well. So there's a question, how do we validate and check if there are any errors? So that is your job now. So Claude has given you the entire financial model, which would have taken 4 hours for you to build. So now you need to spend at least another 20-30 minutes going through uh, each and every worksheet, which should not be a lot, considering that the majority of the work is done, and then check each and every portion and make sure that it is right. Okay, you cannot be trusting the model blindly. You have to definitely do your review, which should be, I would say, 10% of the time, have been uh, which would have been actually if you had built it. Okay, so let me go back. Let me come back and see the next use case in financial modeling. Okay, so let me talk about one of the common functions that we do, or one of the common tasks that we do in financial modeling, which is sensitivity analysis. So let me open up a use case. Okay, let me disconnect. So what do you see here on the screen is another set of assumptions for a financial model. Okay, so this is, consider this as a revenue model for a website. Okay, so what does a website typically do? So website has a lot of content in terms of articles and videos, and when people visit the website, they end up looking at the advertisements or the ads on the side or in between the articles. Okay, and that's how the website makes the money. So a website makes money through the impressions or the number of people watching the ads or looking at the ads, and also in terms of the clicks. So if I go and just watch the ad, or if I just see the ad, the website makes certain amount of money. But if I go and click on that ad, the website will even make more amount of money. When you go on a website and you watch the ads and you click on the ads, that's how the website is earning money. Okay, so based on the rate for every 1,000 impressions and for every click, you have your revenue model build up, which is you earn $1,500 from the impressions and the $2,200, $22,500 from the clicks, and that's how the total revenue for the website is $24,000. What we need to do is we need to create a sensitivity analysis table which represents the revenue numbers for different levels of the two main assumptions. So the two important assumptions here are your website visitors and the click-through rate. These are two of the most important assumptions for the model. Okay, and what we need to see is what will be the revenue at different levels of the website visitors and at different levels of the click-through rates. So that is what we need to come up with, and we need to present that in one of our presentation. Okay, so that is the task. If I had to do this in Excel, what I would have done is I would have used the Excel functionality, which is what if analysis, and I would have had to go to data, and I have had to go to what if analysis. What I would have had to do is I would have had to select this, and I would have had to click data table, and then give it some input. So row input cell, I would say in my row number 3, I have my website visitors. In my column number G, I have my click-through rate. Based on these inputs, it will populate all of this. This is the data table function in Excel. Okay, so now I needed to know the data table function. I needed to know what cell to input where. Okay, only after that I was able to create a sensitivity analysis table like this. Okay, how do I check if this is right? So if you notice 24,000, here you can see 24,000, which is at 750,000 website visitors and 2% of click-through rate. Okay, so this means the table is working fine. Okay, now let us see if the same task can be done using the Claude ribbon on the right hand side. So let me just delete this and let me give it a prompt. So let me bring my prompt notepad. Okay, so I'll just casually just input saying that, okay, update. Okay, let me just delete this Claude log so that it doesn't have any history. Okay, now I'll just give it a very simple prompt saying that update the sensitivity analysis table, which is what this table is. Okay, using the given data set. I want to make it easier, so I would want to reference this entire section. So I would say from H4 to L9. So I'll say H4 to L9 using the data set. Okay, so let's see if it is able to do that. Okay, it says it is reading the current sheet to understand the data in the sensitivity analysis table. Okay, so now it is looking at the revenue formula, and it is able to decode the formula which is there in the here in the Excel model. Now using all of that formula, it was able to build the sensitivity analysis table. Okay, so it was able to do that in a fraction of a second. Okay, and if you notice the numbers here is the similar numbers, so 75,024 at 2%, which is what you see here. So if you notice, I did not have to know the Excel functionality. I didn't have to know what I needed to input in which part of that dialog box. I just had to know. I just had to know. Uh, I just had to give it a prompt saying that please update this entire section using the model. So this was the second use case I wanted to share with you on financial modeling, which was a very frequent use case in FP&A, which is a sensitivity analysis model. Okay, I'll again take a pause and see if there are any questions or any comments. Okay, so there's a question which says, is there any applicable prompt for error searching? So typically what I do is, again, this is something what I am doing. So when I build something in Claude, I take that output. So for example, this financial model, and I would input that in some other LLM, say GPT, okay, and I'll ask it to find errors. Okay, so that is what I typically do at this point. So if you want to just check for errors using AI, you can do that. However, you cannot depend on that. You need to make sure that the final check, which is the check that you need to do before you send it to somebody, that needs to be done by you. Okay, so there's another question which says, can we use it directly with our official data or should we use dummy data? So the answer is you should only use it with your official data if you have an enterprise license and the permission from your IT team. In the absence of any of the two, or if you don't have that enterprise license or the permission from your IT team, then you should use dummy data and then replace the dummy data with the actual data once you get the output. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take a pause here and we will look at the next tool, which is Manus AI, which is an agentic AI tool, and we'll look at one use case in that tool. So let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah, Dhawal, I've unmuted you.
Cool. So let's look at the next use case. So to understand this use case, we will slightly take a different approach. Okay. So I'm going to share with you a website in the chat box, and I want you to fill the basic details and generate a financial model on your own. And once you do that, just type done in the chat box. Okay. Once you are using this model, it's going to ask for your email ID and name. So don't worry, your email ID is not getting captured. It's just a dummy slot there. You can fill in anything. right? You can write abc@gmail or whatever, right? So your email ID is not getting captured, so don't worry about it. Okay, so the website looks something like this. I've shared that in the chat box. It says build professional financial model in minutes. Okay, so once you say create for your basic details, your name, email ID, and the sector you want to choose, there are some options that are pre-filled. So you can select any one option and then go and generate a financial model on your own. Once you do that, just type done in the chat box. So it's a very simple tool. So I'm just using basic details. I'm going to select a sector. Let's say I'm going to select professional services. It will ask for your basic details, monthly revenue, billable hours, utilization. And these KPIs are customized basis the industry that you select. If you're selecting hospitality, then these KPIs are different. If you're selecting professional services, then these KPIs are different. Okay, and once I do this, I agree on the privacy policy, generate financial model. And now it is asking an option to download the Excel file. Okay, that Excel file is already here. Let me open that Excel file. Yeah, here is the Excel file that I just generated. It's giving you a 24-month financial model, neatly formatted. It has the basic P&L statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement, and some summary information as well. So this is an exercise that I had done to generate a basic financial model. Asif, I'm getting a notification that my internet connection is unstable. Are you still able to see and hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can see your screen and we can hear you as well.
Got it. Okay, cool. So this is a simple financial model that the website generated. And what I want to now show you is a tool called Manus AI. So Manus AI is looks pretty much like your ChatGPT. Manus AI is the closest possible experience that you can get for an agentic AI principle, right? So this works on agentic AI principle. It has far more advanced capabilities in terms of analyzing Excel sheets, building presentations, and it can build websites as well. So once I started using Manus AI, I never went back, right? So things have been so easy. And Manus is basically a Chinese tool. The backend of this is Claude and Gwen, a combination of Claude and Gwen models. Okay, now Manus AI is acquired by Meta, so it's more of an American model right now. And so this is where I used Manus AI not just to build a financial model, but to generate an entire website that you just saw to generate financial models. And the prompt that I gave here, I'm going to show you quickly. It took me about half an hour to 45 minutes to generate that entire modeling website, right? And I've generated many more websites like this, many more tools like this using Manus AI, but I'm just going to cover one use case here. So I gave a prompt, a detailed prompt, which says I want an HTML website, backend of which needs to be an expert financial modeler. The website should be simple drop down and should have a simple drop down and fields where the visitor will select the sector or the industry. After that, it should give him 8 or 10 parameters or KPIs, which the website will ask. The website should then study the parameters and then build an end-to-end, well-formatted Excel financial model. And I said, ask me any questions before building this site, right? And I gave some sector information. I gave some basic color scheme and everything, right? And then it asked me some questions. How do you want the front end to be? How do you want the back end to be? Right? Or it gave me the suggestions. I said, okay, perfect, thanks. Right? All of this is processing that Manus is doing on its own. Okay. Then I said, I remember that it should not violate any copyrights in the process of building this website. I said, make sure that you do not violate any copyrights while building this website. So yeah, so it started populating, showing me the steps as to what is being populated, right? And finally was the entire website that you just saw, right? It's create another model. So this was the model. This was the entire website that it, right? And then it gave me only like a couple of sectors. I said, add some more sectors. I just don't want 2 sectors. I want like 7 or 8 different kind of sectors there. So I gave it another prompt and then it started adding all those different kind of sectors as well. And the end outcome is what you just saw. So let me just quickly come down. All this is processing. I'm not saying anything here. It is just interpreting on its own, showing me how it is processing, what it's processing. All of this is step-by-step processing. And then finally, it built the financial model that we just saw. I'm just going to save visit here. So this is how the entire financial modeler website was built within a few minutes, right? Build professional model in minutes. So you can use this not only for building financial models, you can use any You can build any different kind of a website, a tool, a dashboard, a lot of things. I've done some amazing tasks on building websites, tools, custom tools. I've built so many things with this Manus AI. Again, Manus AI is not free to use. Different paid models. I think the starting one is $17 or $19. I have a slightly higher one, which is I think $40 per month, because my usage is high, right? So that is what Manus can do. Okay, Manus has introduced new capabilities. This is just one of the examples, but it can build great presentations. It can build websites. It can build dashboards. A lot of cool things that Manus AI can do for you. Okay, so this is what one of the use cases that I wanted to show. Awesome. Asif, do we get to next steps?
Rahul, let me just share one more last use case and then we'll get back once again.
Sure, sure. Okay.
So let me show you a couple of use cases in financial modeling using ChatGPT. I think one of the same use cases which we used in we created in Claude. Let me show you how you can do the same in Excel. Sorry, same in the ChatGPT. So what I will do in ChatGPT, the same sensitivity analysis table we created, I gave it a very detailed prompt with all the assumptions, all the details that was required, the formulas. Again, I asked it to give me the sensitivity analysis table. Okay, so if you notice, this is a much more detailed prompt compared to what I had in Claude, which I just said use the data set and give me the sensitivity analysis table. Okay, so what it did is it gave me the same output, which was accurate, exactly same that you saw in the Claude. And if you notice, $750,000 at 2% is $24,000, which is what we had in that model as well. So you could have done this in ChatGPT as well, just that the Claude is much more convenient because you don't have to go out of Excel and you don't have to give a very detailed prompt like you do in ChatGPT. So 6 months back, I was doing the same use case. I was showing the same use case in ChatGPT, but now I use Claude for that same particular use case. Okay, so that was one. And the last use case let me just cover is you could do a similar website or a model in ChatGPT as well. The one, maybe let me just show it to you. Uh, Again, this is the same or similar assumptions that I showed you for the website model. Okay, so this is an application where you have number of downloads, month on month growth rate, a number of people who you actively use the application, and based on that there's a revenue number which is modeled. Okay, so what I'm asking is build a subscription revenue calculator which I can use as a calculator by updating the input so that I can see. Okay, so it did build it for me. So let me just show you the preview. So once I gave it the prompt, and it started running the background code for the application. Okay, and let me show you how it looks like. Hopefully it should appear. I had done this about 3 months back, so let's see if it is able to still show the output. Okay, so what it does is I can just change the assumptions here and I can see the output change at the bottom. Okay, so let's make this maybe 1 million instead of 1.5. Okay, and month on month growth rate 10%. Okay, and you can see all of that change here in terms of the month on month revenue number, which you can look at it real time. The capability of building such calculators exists in all the three models, be it ChatGPT, Claude, or Manus AI. Okay, with that, we will get back to the slides. Let me stop sharing my screen.
So after looking at some use cases, I hope now you, sorry, Asif, are you sharing or am I sharing?
I am not sharing. You are sharing
Okay.
this.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah.
After looking at some use cases, I hope now you realize how your FP&A role or your finance goal is going to completely change. And soon, people will start asking for these AI-driven skill sets in the job descriptions that they're going to post. And the time is not far. Probably we're about 4 to 6 months away from that. When they'll start asking you that, do you know this skill set or Claude inside Excel? Like how Excel was like a mandatory thing, right now. Claude in Excel or these things will become mandatory. AI tools will become mandatory when people will start hiring their next generation of or next set of team members. So with that, I want to introduce you to the program that we run. It's called AI for Finance and FP&A. It's a live online program which runs for 4 weeks. The next cohort is going to start on the 1st of May, which is a Friday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST, where we are covering 25 plus specific FP&A use cases What you saw was just a trailer. There are far more complex examples and use cases inside the program. We're covering 10 plus different kind of tools and frameworks. What 10 hours of practical FP&A content, multiple use cases around budgeting, forecasting, financial modeling, building CFO presentations, different kind of analysis, profitability analysis, all of those things are covered as part of the use cases in this program. So if you are looking to upskill yourself in FP&A as well as AI, then this could be your best option, right? And these are the tools that we're covering. So we're covering Claude inside Excel. We are covering ChatGPT, Gemini, Manus AI, which we just saw as well, and then Copilot. So these are the course. These are the tools that we are going to cover, right? And again, these are live lessons where you'll be working with us, highly practical. All you need to spend is 2 to 3 hours in that week on that Friday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. 100% practical case studies that we end up using on a day-to-day basis. We'll also get a certification from FP&A Professionals Institute. Apart from that, you'll have access to monthly Q&A sessions, any upgrades to this course. All of those things are always available with you. And you'll also be part of a global alumni community at FPI as well. So the next cohort of AI for Finance and FP&A program starts on the 1st of May, which is Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. So that'll run for 5 weeks. So totally about 10 hours of content. Yeah. And the fee investment in this program is USD 247. But for all the people on the webinar today, please use the coupon code early10 to enroll. Asif has already shared the link in the chat box. That gives you a 10% off. And only few seats are left now. So this batch is fast filling. So we're going to start on the 1st of May, 2026 from Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. With that, happy to take any questions. And before we get into the questions, I want to just mention one last thing. If you're completely new to FP&A, or if you want to just kickstart with a lot of things in FP&A, so we have our FPI membership, which we have recently launched. It has over 100 hours of FP&A content, including topics on AI, FP&A job preparation, resume preparation, any career-related navigation resources, case studies, all of those things are there. Plus, you also get the advantages of getting 20% off on our flagship 6-month certification, which is a CGFPA program. And this membership, which is usually for 197, the launch is happening at 50% off, and you can use the code launch50 to get it at just 98.5 USD for this year. Okay, so it's a 1-year subscription at just 98.5. So whichever course you prefer. So if you are an absolute beginner, you don't know where to start on FP&A or anything on financial modeling or AI, membership would be the best for you. But if you want to learn some advanced skill sets on AI in FP&A, then go for the AI for FP&A masterclass. Both the links are shared in the chat box.
Right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Vignesh. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.